Italy was definitely a real big powerhouse for the musical style of the Italian madrigal at the time of the 16th century. But there were other styles that were very revolutionary in other countries as well, besides in Italy with the madrigal. The next one was the French chanson. That was definitely a really revolutionary one at the time as well. Lots of different composers used that, and it was a four-part chanson, and it focused heavily on rhythm. So just like with the Italian madrigal, which focused combining like the syllabic rhythm with the poetry, this one just really focused heavily on different rhythmic motives and everything. The text used usually very playful, and it was not very serious. It was definitely more humorous as well as just kind of lighthearted, but there were some serious chansons that kind of came up as well. They just weren't as common. French chansons focused heavily on melody to the short form that was used to compose a French chanson. It was in duple meter with a very homophonic texture. The type of performer that this was written for was more of an amateur due to the fact that it was very simple, it was very rhythm heavy, so it was very easy to keep going on it, and it was very simple melodies, usually one-line melody, very simple backgrounds as well. There were 1,500 French chansons written and printed by a guy named Pierre Artemet, which in a 30-year span. He was actually one of the first music printers to come around during the printing press time. So definitely a really cool guy in the way that he was one of the first guys that printed all the music that all these composers were making. A lot of different composers could write in this form and wrote a lot of different pieces for this, especially since they could get it published, they could get it printed, they could get it out at that time. So a lot of people took it up on that as well. One of the most important composers that was inside the Attainment Chanson collection was Claudin de Sermussy. Sermussy is a French composer, and he was born in 1490. He is known for writing masses, secular works, and then French chansons as well. One of his more popular works was Tantin que Vivere, which features a more light-hearted side of a chanson that has not been done many times. Some things that are different about this piece than many others are the fact that he only used thirds and fifths above the bass. He'd occasionally use a sixth. So he kept it very simple in that fact as well, just like the French chanson was a very simple piece. The fact that the rhythm was very indicative of the poetry, just like the Italian madrigal, and he tried to be very syllabic to the natural flow of the poetry as well. Sermussy's works were passed on from generation to generation, and a lot of his stuff was reprinted and rearranged many, many different times. So a lot of his pieces were actually used in churches and stuff like that later on, way past his death, because other people grabbed his music, did a reprint, or rearranged it for different ensembles, stuff like that. So his music kept around for a long time. It was definitely widely used and very, very popular in that fact. Now, if you can listen to the whole piece of Tantin que Vivere at the end of this as well, just listen for kind of what we talked about already with the French chanson, just a lightheartedness, kind of see if there's a difference. You can hear a difference between the Italian madrigal and a French chanson, and see kind of what you come up with as well on those different listenings. So we'll get back to the last video after that.